Another game I really want to talk about that struck me a lot during the summer game fest period, so a few days ago, is Virtua Fighter Crossroads, because I did make a video last year, I think, when it was first announced, and they showed a teaser of Akira fighting with Stella. So yeah, it was a while ago, but in that video I did say that Virtua Fighter 6 has the possibility, has the chance, thanks to the know-how from the Yakuza team, the modern day, the current day Yakuza team from Sega, to actually become a big franchise again in the space, in the fighting game space. Because Virtua Fighter, at some point in time, was a really huge franchise. A lot of people who play fighting games, who started playing fighting games maybe not too long ago, may not realize this, but Virtua Fighter was a big deal back then. When a new Virtua Fighter came out, like, it was a benchmark for innovation, technology, and I mean game design as well. It was a fighting game, sure, but it was the first 3D fighting game, so it's not an easy feat to pull off when you're the first and you have to set the standard for everything else, and also manage to be good. So for Virtua Fighter to finally be relevant again, it will take a lot, because the franchise has been, one, ignored by Sega, like Virtua Fighter 5. Like the original Virtua Fighter 5 release came out in 2005, 2006, 2005. So yeah, it's been 20 years. After that, it's been just re-releases, Virtua Fighter 5 revisions, re-releases, and that's it. So yeah, the franchise has completely lost all its relevance, at least with people who weren't always fans of the franchise, with the casual audience. I think, in my opinion, that happened, one, because I mean Sega stopped being like an hardware producer. They stopped making their own consoles, so the hype died down between the Sega fan base. Arcades stopped being relevant, so Virtua Fighter really didn't have a home anymore. Uh, like, didn't have a piece of hardware to call home that made it stay relevant. Like, for example, I don't know, Smash Bros. Would be, to name a few, to name a franchise. So that was like a big point. But also there's the fact that the biggest weak point of Virtua Fighter that's been during the ages, it's that Sega really never put much effort into establishing character motivations, or a story outside of like the anime, because like, let's be real, if you wanted to experience the Virtua Fighter story in any way, shape, or form, the only outlet you had, you have always had, so like the only piece of content, as far as I know, related to Virtua Fighter story outside of the games, actually, even considering the games, because the games never had anything story related in them. Like, I don't think they even ever had like character profiles. Maybe some releases did have characters profiles with the story, but Virtua Fighter is one of those games, the only franchise in the fighting game space that never even had arcade endings for their characters. They absolutely had nothing story related in their games, and that was one of the biggest weak points, because like, if you want people to care about your franchise, about your characters, you have to make them compelling. You have to give them struggles for people to relate to. Like, you have to give them challenges to overcome. But yeah, the story. I mean, Virtua Fighter had a story, but it wasn't really ever touched in the games. So yeah, it's like it never had a story. For 90%, I'm gonna be generous. 90% of the people who played Virtua Fighter or even heard of Virtua Fighter, they have no clue what the fuck the story is about. So yeah, that's a big weak point. And like I was saying, the only piece of content that is story related that I know of that Virtua Fighter ever got was the anime, the 90s anime, which was, I mean, it was a pretty decent anime. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a masterpiece or anything, but it was a solid anime. And but the problem with the anime is that only um, takes inspiration, I mean, narrates the story from Virtua Fighter 2. So yeah, it's Virtua Fighter 2. There are other Virtua Fighter games that are not relevant to the story of that anime because, like I said, it only recounts the events of Virtua Fighter 2, which sucks because the anime was decent. So it would have been interesting to have other seasons of that anime, but made for other Virtua Fighter games, like for Virtua Fighter 3, Virtua Fighter 4, and so on. So yeah, Sega really slacked off in that sense by really not giving much weight to the universe story, universe in universe story, let's say. I mean, originally they were planning to make the Virtua Fighter RPG, which was supposed to be Shenmue, and but that never really saw the light of day. So, and yeah, all this to say, with this little bit of history lesson about the anime and everything, because yeah, Virtua Fighter got the anime when it was at its peak. Virtua Fighter 2 was Virtua Fighter's peak when it comes to popularity. That's where the franchise was at its most popular. So Virtua Fighter 2 is pretty much what Street Fighter 2 was for Street Fighter. That was pretty much the equivalent. And then it was a slow and steady decline when it came to Virtua Fighter, in terms of popularity at least. But yeah, I was saying. So with this new game, with this new presentation, Sega, it's clear that it has its priorities straight because they want to make Virtua Fighter popular again, but not just in terms of fighting games. They said they want to make a game that is like game of the year worthy. So they are not just aiming for the crown of fighting games. They are aiming for the crown of all games, at least in the year it's released. And I think in that video I made, I said that yeah, if there's someone who can do it, that's the Yakuza team, because at this point the Yakuza team they have the budget, they have the know-how, they have the talent to pull it off. Also because I mean, look at all the games they are churning out. They are like lower them or hate them, they can make games. Like even Stranger Than Heaven looks pretty cool, honestly. So and yeah, they can make it. If you watch the footage, the trailer, the presentation of Virtua Fighter Crossroads, it's a very ambitious game. It has a proper single player game, like probably the most complex single player game, single player mode of any fighting game I've ever seen. It's pretty much almost what Shenmue was supposed to be, like what the original Shenmue was supposed to be. Four playable characters, each with their different story, branching paths, like, or at least intersecting paths that bring about different like events depending on who you play. Probably you can meet different characters, original characters from the original like story and so on. So it looks pretty complex, and not just that, like the game itself, it has been completely reworked. It doesn't feel like the old Virtua Fighters at all. If you look at the gameplay, it's like they've added like some small effects to capture the player. I mean the player, the casuals attention, because Virtua Fighter was always pretty bad when it comes to visual effects. It had none, no visual effects, no particles, no dust like Tekken. But instead, they're adding some small particle. I mean, it's always very light stuff. No, no, not no, not nothing fancy, nothing confusing or anything. And some of it reminds me of of Street Fighter 6. Like stylistically, the design of the world, the design of the UI, when you select a character, it really gives me Street Fighter 6 vibes. So I guess, I mean, in that sense, they are taking inspiration from the top game in the industry right now when it comes to fighting games. But they are clear. It's clear that they want to surpass even that. The single player mode looks something that even the most casual fighting game player will want to play, or at least even someone who doesn't play fighting games, because they are doing something very interesting. Because the single player mode has battles similarly to what Shenmue had, like still one-on-one battles, but skirmishes, like big skirmishes in which you fight more than one enemy. So sort of like a 2D beat 'em up, scrolling beat 'em up, but it's 3D, and you fight multiple enemies just with the still with the Virtua Fighter fighting system. So like top notch quality. And yeah, that looks very interesting, because if you want to capture the casual audience, you have to give them reasons to care about your story, about your characters. And yeah, they're not gonna play the versus mode. Most likely, they're gonna play the single player, and that's it. So that's a good way to capture the attention of the casual audience. And that's why I think this game is gonna be probably not bigger than Tekken or Street Fighter, but I think it's gonna bring back Virtua Fighter back into the mainstream consciousness, because it looks really good. Like the mechanics, the animations, the graphics. It's it's like Virtua Fighter is back. It's gonna be a Virtua Fighter is gonna be a benchmark once again, like it once was. And yeah, I think it's gonna be Virtua Fighter 6 is gonna be what Yakuza 0 was for Yakuza 10 years ago, because Yakuza 0 is what I think is what started the rise in popularity, at least when it comes to the franchise in the West. Because Yakuza was already popular in Japan, but it was struggling in the West, and the franchise started to pick up steam when Yakuza 0 came out, even in the West. And now it's relatively popular as a franchise. And I think that's gonna happen with Virtua Fighter 6. They are going to like sell quite a lot, capture the attention of a lot of people, and they deserve it, because they have. It's clear that they have put a lot of thought, a lot of their expertise into this game. Also, the budget looks quite high, so I definitely wanna try this game, because I don't play fighting games anymore, but I'm willing to make an exception for this one, because I've always liked Virtua Fighter. I haven't played it in years, so yeah, I'll be playing this one hopefully, because I want to support the devs as well. I mean, I used to be a Sega fanboy, but yeah, a long time ago. I always liked Sega games, so this is gonna be the perfect occasion for me to play some Virtua Fighter again. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts about what you think about this game, and maybe also Stranger Than Heaven. Even though I haven't really checked that one that much, but I plan to do that as well. So, like I said, let me know, guys, your thoughts, and Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.